Okay, so we've finished with pure maths, and now we're going to look at some statistics. So you may have done statistics before, you might not have done statistics, but anyway, we're going to have a look at some different ways in which we can use statistics. So first of all, we're going to start by thinking actually what statistics are. So statistics as a word simply means something that we might have a collection of data or a collection of sample or a collection of numerical things or a collection of opinions. So these collections, well, we can quantify them and we can call these variables. So these quantities actually come under two terms. They either come under the qualitative terms or quantitative terms. Qualitative terms are often or often variables such as opinions or attitudes. These are really important and can help us describe trends, especially in a human perspective. Quantitative data are the things that we're going to be looking at actually in this part, this module, are things with real numbers, such as physical data, such as shoe size, height, broken test tubes, number of core samples, things like that. So how we deal with this quantitative data? Well, we might want to take this data and actually describe it. So the techniques we're going to describe first are based around a theory called central tendency. So central tendency is basically if we have a set of data, we might want to describe it using a single number. We might want to describe different features in the data, how common they are. We might want to describe find the central point of the data. We might even want to describe how the data deviates from itself. So the first way we do this, and one of the most powerful statistical tools, is the mean. So the mean is found by taking the sum of all our data and dividing it by the total number of the data. So basically, mathematically, we can write that as if this is our data, xi, we can put this overline, which is our Einsteinian notation to show as it's a mean, is equal to our sum of all of our data n, starting at 1, from xi, so this was our sum of all of the data, divided by our total number of data n. And if we were to expand this out, this would be the same thing as saying xi overline equals x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus xn all over n. Okay, so that's our mean. Our next tool we often use is the median. And the median is a way in which we can find the central point of the data. So say I have a data set, maybe 1, 3, 1, 2, 6, 9, 1, 3. Well, we can order this data and we can we'll put it into order. First of all, we'd say that we have a 1 here, we have a second 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, we have a third 3. I've actually missed, we have 3 ones, I missed out a 1 there, put another 1 in here. We have a 3, 1, 2, we have 2 3s. We'll start again. We have a 1 here, where we have a 1 here. We have another 1 here. We have a 2 here. We have a 3 here. And we have another 3 here. And we have a 6. And we have a 9. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of data. So if we wanted to find the center value of this, we would have to say, well, where is our center? So we can use an equation for this, where our median location is equal to our n number of values, which in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which equals 8 plus 1 divided by 2. And this would be 9 divided by 2, which equals 4.5. So this means that our median would have to sit between our fourth and our fifth data point, which would be here and here. So to calculate our median, we would say that we'll have to calculate the mean of these. So that would be 2 plus 3 divided by 2, which equals 2.5, and that's our median. So we can see actually this is the same as our mean because we actually have 2 pieces of data. So if we were to bring our equation where x bar I equals the sum of I equals 1, well, we know that would just be 2 at the top, and we have our xi all over n. This would describe our mean, which would give us 2.5. Okay, and next of all, we have our something called the mode. So the mode is one of my favorite decomposition or favorite methods because I've spent the last few years working on the mathematics around the mode. So the mode describes how things are most common. So in the data set we have here, we can see that we have the most ones. So the one would be our mode. But we could also maybe say, well, we have a second mode here, where the second most common would be a 3. We'd have a 3. So what the modes allow us to do is find groups of data, and this helps us to find relationships. And I've spent quite a few years looking at different things in fluid mechanics, how fluids interact with relationships, how cities react in relationships, how waves react in relationships. That's some of our current research. So don't think the statistical tools such as the mode, the median, and the mean are simple. They're actually really powerful and some of the most powerful tools you can use. For example, in the third year dissertations, when I'm often speaking to them, they'll often show me the most complex statistical p-value t-test that they've done. However, using the mean value alone, it's possible to actually describe the data in a really simple way, which can really help you to form some relationships. Okay, so our next measure is something called, oh, we'll actually do an example here, I think. So if we take the data on page 142, we get asked first to find the mean. So we have some algae here, as the table shows the quarterly data from samples of algae collected from a pond over a 3-year period. So it's cooked to the quarters over 3 years, so we're going to have 12 pieces of data. So we'll write n equals 12. So if we want then to calculate the mean, all we need to do is add all these data up and divide them by 12. So that would be 120 plus 150 plus 180 plus 130 plus 130 plus 160 plus 180 plus 140 plus 150 plus 170 plus 200, I didn't fit it on, plus 170. Now if we divide those all by 12 and we stick that into the calculator, we'll find that our answer is equal to 156.67 grams per meter cubed. Don't forget the units. That is our mean value. That's our average value of all those data. So next we get asked to find the median. So here we need to order the data. For simplicity, I've done this already, but you can go through and do this. So the ordered data be 120, 130, 130, 140, 150, 150, 160, 170, 170, 180, 180, 200. Okay, so what we can say here is we have 12 pieces of data. So our median location would be equal to 12 plus 1 divided by 2. But actually, we don't get an easy number here. We're going to get a complex one again. We're going to get 6.5. So that means our values have to be between 6 and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be 150, and our seventh would be 170. So our median value is equal to 150 plus 160 divided by 2, which equals to 155 grams per meter cubed. And finally, we want to look at the mode here. And this is quite an interesting data set because we actually have a few modes. We actually have a mode here of 130, we have a mode here of 150, we have a mode of 170, and we have a mode of 180. So we have multiple answers, 130, 150, 170, 180, which is quite interesting. This is showing how the data is grouping. It's becoming self-similar. It's actually starting to organize itself. If you look more into chaos theory, actually, to go off on a side point, it's really interesting how data does begin to group and it begins to attract, and we have attractors in chaos theory. And at some point, it's possible to predict things. The National Lottery changes the amount of numbers in the National Lottery, so I'm still sat here teaching mathematics. But it potentially is possible. The National Lottery understand that this is possible. So our modes would be these values. We have these groups of values. Okay, so we'll leave it there. That's some basic tools. In the next part, we're going to describe what the standard deviation is, and then we'll move on to actually looking at how we can group these data.